I know this, if you're willing to listen, to be guided by that still small voice that is the GPS within yourself, to find out what makes you come alive, you will be more than okay. You will be happy, you will be successful, and you will make a difference in the world. Congratulations, class of 2015. Congratulations.
Oprah's inspiring speech to Harvard graduates in 2013 almost didn't happen because she was scared. Oprah Winfrey scared
I was a little
that she had nothing new to teach them. She reflects on this moment in her new book, The Path Made Clear, Discovering Your Life's Direction and Purpose. Oprah reveals the many lessons she has learned, including how to fight fear head on. She explains how you hold the power to discover your purpose and live your greatest truth. I know I was listening to the speech and I said, were they playing music there? Did we add that cheesy music? But we did. But Oprah, this is the thing. I want to talk about the Harvard speech because I remember that day very well. I remember how nervous you were.
Yeah, and I don't normally get nervous with speeches, as you know.
No, I know. We'll hit that, but first we got to talk about Prince Harry because this news just broke this morning about you and Prince Harry teaming up to work with Apple on a special series. Yes, it just broke this morning. We're glad about that.
Yeah.
But Harry says this, I'm incredibly proud to be working alongside Oprah on this vital series. How did you and Harry, known as H to his friends, get together?
Well, I was having a conversation with him about, I actually asked the question, what do you think are the most important issues facing the world right now? And he said there are two. He said climate change, and he said mental wellness, mental fitness.
Mental wellness, yeah.
Mental wellness, mental fitness, and the mental health. And it, as you know, he's spoken about his own issues and what he went through after his mother died, and how being able to talk about it has benefited him. So it's a passion of his. And at the end of the conversation, he said, and I said, "Oh, you know, I'm going to be doing this thing with Apple. I said it's a big concern of mine too, and I want to try to erase the stigma." And I was telling him about this Apple platform, and he said, at the end of the conversation, "Oh, if there's anything I can do to help," and I go,
As a matter of fact.
Do you know what you're going to do at this point?
Yes, we're doing a multi-part docuseries on mental health, all of its and the spectrum.
And what's Harry's involvement going to be?
And Harry is co-creating this with me, and he is executive producing this with me.
He has lots of ideas.
We've had several meetings. We've had secret meetings in London. I've flown there with the crew, sitting in sessions, talking about, you know, the directions we're going to take. I think it's going to make our hope is that it will have an impact on reducing the stigma and allowing people to know that they're not alone, and allowing people to speak up about it and being able to identify it for themselves and their friends. You know?
It will. We need that spiritual guidance.
Yes.
And as someone who knows Meghan Markle, how do you think she is being portrayed?
I think she's being portrayed unfairly. And I feel that if people really knew her, they would know that she is not only everything that we perceive of her as being graceful and dynamic and holding that position, but she just has a wonderful, warm, giving, loving heart. Yeah. So, I mean, I see all the crazy press around her, and I think it's really unfair.
Yeah, she's very kind. She doesn't seem to buy into it, though, which I think is.
She actually does not read anything, which I find, I think that's remarkable that in spite of all that's going on, she does not read anything.
She's living her life. She's living a very good life. Baby countdown is underway. But this is the great thing about this book. Number one, Oprah, I'm not just saying this because I know you and love you so much. The book is really good. I read it yesterday. I'm sitting in the bank.
I walked in this morning. She goes, "The book is really good."
Because I just read it yesterday.
What? The book is really good.
The book is really good. But listen, I was at the bank yesterday, and while I was waiting for the business to happen, I'm reading to my banker, Jermaine. I said, if you're at a crossroads in your career or relationship, if you're struggling with finances, with addiction, or take control of your health, the journey to lasting change begins with defining what matters most to you. He goes, could you take a picture of that and send it to me? I need to send it to my fiance, Chanel, because she is struggling with this very thing right now. Yeah, he goes, who wrote that? I go, Oprah. He goes, Oprah writes? So anyway, so what is the question to this? I thought it was really very powerful. It all begins with you. You have to define what matters to you most.
Yeah. The most important question anybody can ever ask themselves is, what do I really want? And I used to do this at the end of the show when I was talking to the audience, which was just my favorite part of every show. And I'd have people stand up and tell me, what do you really want? And the truth is, most people could not answer that question.
Yes.
A lot of women always say, I just want to be happy, or I want my kids.
Why can't we answer that question?
Because you haven't really given it the thought that
Yeah.
it deserves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everything flows from that question of, what do I want?
What's so interesting in this book, and all the people that you talk to, in a lot of cases, it took somebody on the outside to say to them, you're this.
Yes, yes. But everybody has it within them. You know, this is why I think it's, when I was writing this, I was thinking, this is such a great graduation gift, and I'm going to give it to all of my girls who are graduating. Actually, I'm doing my last graduation. I don't intend to go to another graduation after this year.
You don't? Really? You don't?
I don't, because I have the 20th girl graduating. I've been to 20 graduations in the past 3 years, and I am done, okay? But I want to give this book for graduations, because I think so many kids are coming out of school and they don't know which direction to take. A lot of people are in their lives, their 30s or 40s, and they still don't know what their purpose is, you know?
But I think it's interesting about graduations, because everybody wants you to be the graduation speaker. I know you get many requests. And when the Harvard request came in, that actually kind of threw you, which surprised me, because you've done many graduations at top-notch schools.
I've been speaking since
but
I was a
Harvard
girl.
threw you.
It's the Harvard name, and that's why I opened the speech saying, I'm at Harvard, because that sort of released a lot of the attention and the intimidation I was feeling, because I thought, wow, Harvard, these are really, really smart.
But it came at a time in your life.
And it came at a time in my life when
you felt vulnerable.
Yes, when I felt vulnerable, and every single headline was about Oprah and the struggling network. So I was like, what could I possibly say to them when I'm in the midst of the struggle? Which actually, you have more to say when you're in the midst of the struggle than you do when you're on top.
You're right, and I went back and reread this speech, and you said, there is no such thing as failure. Failure is just life trying to move us in another direction.
Well, it certainly looks like failure at the time.
And it doesn't feel
feels
good.
like
And it feels like failure at the time.
failure.
But if you, I learned this from Maya, if you, in the midst of the failure, Maya would say thank you, which is hard to do. You say thank you because you know that there is a clearing, a path that will be made on the other side of that, that allows you to use that failure as information. And I always say this to everybody, particularly students, that knowing what you don't want to do is equally as important as knowing what you do want to do.
It's so true.
Because when you try something and it doesn't work, it's not a failure, it's information that, whoa, I'm in the wrong place, I'm in the wrong job. And just before I was demoted at my job early in my career, I mean, that was big. If that had not happened to me, I would not have become what I became in my work. Because
And we might not have been friends.
we already were friends, Gayle.
I know, but if you hadn't been demoted to really talk it through, we might not have been the friends we are today.
Because that's where we met, in the bathroom.
Yes.
Go meet me in the bathroom.
Yes.
They just took me off the 6 o'clock news.
And I was like, oh no!
We're squeezing in a break. The Path Made Clear is on sale now.
Bye.
Thank you.